Because we're sitting as joking a little bit about only a couple more hours of wonder, a couple hours of wonder. And yet I know that there will always be a lifetime of wonder. And we're on the brink, and I'm just going to spill the beans right now. Next month's theme, in a couple hours, the theme will be new beginnings. So I originally thought that I was going to be speaking on new beginnings. So I thought, reset to zero. That could be a perfect opportunity because similar to what we were saying earlier, like if I could go back and I could reset a part of my life, would I? How would I? I've come to a place where I love the man that I am today. And I've loved the life that I've lived. And it hasn't always been easy. Sometimes it's been messy. Sometimes it's been painful. And would I go back and then would I change it? No. Because it's very formative to who I am now. So I don't want to rewrite the story. It's kind of like when you're driving your car and you want to reset the odometer. You can reset it to zero, but still has all the miles. You're only kidding yourself. It's a psychological thing. Or if you're trying to sell it and you're trying to, shyster someone. But how often do we shyster ourselves? And we just sort of gloss over and like, oh, I'm going to pretend it didn't happen. Now, stuff happens. Pain happens. There is pain in this world. I venture to say that it's the suffering that's the option. And that's where we can really lean into this teaching, this philosophy that we know. How can I be with the pain, the realities of the world, things that are seemingly out of my control, or even more importantly, how can I be with the pain and the mess that I've created, and without experiencing the suffering? And that's the power of the science of mind philosophy. We have a mind, and how do we set our mind and our hearts back to zero? So the title of my talk is 0 Point. So I like that concept of 0 point. When my mind or my life is getting kind of crazy, anxiety is kicking up, stress, fear, any of those other sort of things, I know that I'm not the most productive, I'm not my highest best self when I'm living in that place. So my objective is to get back to my 0 point, get back to that place of where I am perfectly aligned and I remember who I am. Not always easy. So how do you do it? In this philosophy, in the spiritual community, I'd say get thee to a practitioner. Pick up the phone and have a conversation with someone. I picked up the phone, not unsurprisingly, to Dr. Tiffany a couple days ago because I was in a headspace where my mind was just sort of spinning. Something happened or didn't happen, and what I realized was, it was a trigger point which was activating a bunch of old beliefs and old stories of not worthiness, of unworthy, of unwanted, of all those things that I've done so much work on to rework, unwind, unravel, and yet in this moment, they came glaring back. So I knew I had to do something to get back to that alignment place. And Tiffany was great to offer a conversation which helped bring me back. Similar to with Dr. Liza when she was in her car accident. She shared so powerfully last week, of when sinking back into the stories of victim or why me or just the circumstances of life. And Tiffany asked, well, what's the one absolute thing? What's one absolute that you can hold on to, that you can cling to? I have my life. I am life. And that was what brought Liza back to that 0 point. Ernest Holmes this is such a beautiful and powerful line, which to me helps bring me back to the reminder of that 0 point. There is one life. That life is God. That life is perfect. And that life is my life now. Sounds great. Like I said, Friday night wasn't so easy for me, you know? And sometimes I think, like, why is it so difficult? People moan and groan when we do our vision statement. Love only. That sounds so nice. It's the forgive everything. And I often hear that, forgive, but it's the everything. And especially now in family dynamics, in work dynamics, in societal, government, economic, you name the environment. Can I forgive everything? So I was thinking of, I wouldn't really say it's a hypothesis because it's not really scientifically proved. It's not provable. I'm not looking to prove it. It's more of a metaphor. Quite honestly, it's this whole religion thing. Is it, it's like the parable of the two babies. Is there something outside of us or not? There's atheism or there's belief in faith, So for me, something I was just playing around this week was forgiveness is a 0 point mechanism. So is that the magic tool that can get me back to that place of 0 point? So definition of 0 point in terms of quantum physics would be 0 point energy. So scientifically, 0 point energy is the lowest possible energy that a quantum mechanics system can have. It represents a vast reservoir of untapped energy. So when you get back to that 0 point, when I get back from the chaos of my mind to a calm, centered, aligned place, suddenly I have access to this whole different reserve of creative energy that I can use and create with. And so forgiveness as a mechanism. Forgiveness is the process of letting go of anger, resentment, and the desire for revenge. It releases emotional burdens similar to how 0 point energy can release latent energy. I'm just going to move through these few pretty quickly. And energy transformation. So 0 point energy from the quantum perspective, and again, these are very simple layman terms because I'm not a quantum scientist, but it is 0 point energy can transform quantum fluctuations into usable energy. So when you get back to that place of stillness, suddenly you have access to all this different energy and latent possibilities can and will emerge. And healing and restoration. Forgiveness transforms negative emotions to positive outcomes. It promotes healing, similar to harnessing 0 point energy can restore balance to an ecosystem. So why is forgive everything so difficult? And I would venture to say it's because of this brain. There are some physical mechanisms. Oops. Going back here. Okay, so our brain responds to stress. And in particular, like a betrayal. So the brain treats betrayal like physical pain. Neuroscience confirms that the amygdala, which is the brain's alarm center, that it spikes every time that there's a betrayal or even the thought of a betrayal. And when the thought of a betrayal, regardless of what it is, it responds and it acts as the equivalent of a broken arm. So the amygdala is the threat detector. It registers 50%, betrayals register 50% stronger than other negative memories. So just the thought of betrayal really activates our mind. So that's where this whole forgiveness thing is really important. And then not only does it activate the memory, but it also activates cortisol levels and other stressors. So betrayal sparks 3 times the cortisol levels, the equivalent of what Liza probably experienced in a car accident. So the idea of, oh, just forgive everything sounds easy, and often it's not, because there's a physiological response that is happening. So this is your brain. Do you remember the commercial? Do you remember the commercial with the egg in the frying pan? The egg, this is your brain, and then the frying, sizzling water, this is your drugs, or this is drugs. Shh. This is your brain on drugs. But this is an example of this is your brain. So when we perceive, and it's difficult to see here, in the red here, that's a threat. When threat goes in, we see it through our visual cortex, and then it sort of splits. It goes to our prefrontal cortex, which is like the CEO of our brain. It's all the logical processing of things. And so it's trying to strategize. Or it goes to the amygdala. And the amygdala is behavioral and physiological responses. So it's because the amygdala, which is this itty-bitty little part of the brain, but it captures so much, and it triggers stress in the body. So tension in the neck, tightness in the heart, all the way down to like your knots in your stomach. And it just stays there. It gets into a sort of a loop. So it's like what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. When betrayal comes in and naughtiness and all that other sort of stuff that happens in Vegas, when those thoughts come into your mind, it's like a continual loop. It keeps staying in there until you do the work. And that's why, it's so important to utilize your mind, to keep taking classes, to be conscious of how we're using our mind, because if we're not, it just keeps replaying and replaying and replaying. So rather from Las Vegas, I just want to put some attention on the vagus nerve. So this way you can remember. So the amygdala was that part of the brain that triggers stress, fear, fight or flight. The prefrontal cortex is strategizing, how do I keep you safe? How do I, our shallow breath work. So I'm at a heightened state so I can respond or react out of fear. The vagus nerve is the pathway to reset our nervous system. It's the pathway that gets us to rest and digest. So I'm going to share a couple of different, as many of you know, I have been more actively involved in breath work. And I'm realizing, I always say, modern technology, we think the greatest technology is a laptop, cell phone, but ancient societies understood that it's actually this human body. And that with this technology, if we know how to harness it, we can self-regulate it. So when you're experiencing high stress, high drama, anxiety, one of the best methods that you can do is a humming breath. So the vibrational, so we're going to actually share with it or experiment with it. Humming for 90 seconds resets your vagus nerve. So it's the fastest way to rid resentment. Because the truth of the matter is, if you're not ridding resentment and you're just thinking of how can I get back at them or revenge, you're actually spiking dopamine. So it feels good. Like just the thought of revenge, the thought of getting back at them, it feels really good because you're getting a spike of dopamine. But it's just covering the pain. The dopamine is going to fall back down and you're going to feel that resentment again. So then you're going to think of another revenge thing, or you're going to go to drink or something else to just numb that off. So one of the opportunities that we can do is actually not cover it up, but to reset that. And it's through the vagus nerve. So it's through vibration. So we're going to try this. I'm inviting you if you'd like to try this with us. So humming breath. If you breathe in for 4 seconds, and then what you will do, so breathe in a nice deep one, but when you exhale through your nose, because the vagus nerve is actually tied in through the nose system, it's, the nitric oxide stimuli there. But breathing in through your nose, and then when you exhale, you're going to hum. So breathing in, 2, 3, 4, and so we're going to repeat that a couple of times. You breathe in for 4 seconds, and then you're going to hum for 6 to 8 seconds. So take a deep breath, breathing in, 1, 2, 3, 4, and exhale, humming, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Breathing in through your nose, 1, 2, 3, 4, and humming out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Perfect. So that's one technique. You can do that at the bank. You can do that in your car. You can do it with your partner. If when you're in that space, just that the vibrational thing activates, and it. Lisa, I saw that. Vibrational techniques improved emotional recovery by 40% compared to silent breathing. 40% greater and faster when you incorporate a hum. And then another really helpful one is 4, 6, 8 breathing, and you can incorporate the two. That's where you breathe in for 4, you hold for 6, and then you exhale, humming for 8. So we'll just try that one more time as well. Actually, let's do one thing. I hate to bring the condition in, but go ahead and take a moment right now. Is there a person, place, thing, circumstance that you're holding on to some resentment, some anger, some fear? I invite you to actually bring that into your mind right now. Take a deep breath, breathing in for 1, 2, 3, 4, holding for 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and exhaling, humming, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Breathing in, one more round, 1, 2, 3, 4, holding at the top, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Thank you. How do you feel now? Notice any type of change in terms of the charge that maybe that person, place, thing, or circumstance has happened. And the reason why is there's neural impact. So lengthened exhales boost carbon dioxide tolerance, calming the prefrontal cortex, that part of your brain that's trying to strategize and fix things. Before a stressful conversation, practice 2 rounds of humming to lower your heart rate. I had the good fortune of being in Kauai last week, so shout out to Reverend Rita and Patrick, and we did some really beautiful breath work there. Some of you have done it. It was a 9D breath work, the 9DMT, which was a very shamanic experience. And I must say that that experience got amplified because we were on the island of Kauai. And the truth of the matter is, there is energy everywhere. And when we get aligned in Kauai, we were aligned with a really pure, powerful, healing energy. So speaking of Kauai, another really great technique. I'm sorry, this is like a little masterclass on forgiveness, but a really great thing to activate and to let go of those grievances is Ho'oponopono. And the Ho'oponopono is an ancient Hawaiian prayer, and it's basically just a chant. I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, and I love you. And Ho'oponopono, actually loosely translated, means to make right, I think is what it is. It's to make right of things. So, and the important thing is, I'm sorry. Why would you say, I'm sorry in forgiveness? It's to actually witness that I'm sorry that whatever has happened has happened. It's the acknowledgement of the feeling that's there. I'm sorry that you had to come into my life, this feeling of it. So it's, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, and I love you. So we'll try that. We'll just do that a round of 4. So again, invite you to take a deep breath. Think of something in your life that you'd like to release, something painful, a familial relationship, something in the world, politics, anything. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. And repeat that with me. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. And one last time. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I want to share one quick little story, and it's about resetting to 0. Sometimes it's about resetting anger and bringing in. I was sharing this story with Thor 2 weeks ago. There was a period where I was in a U-Haul rental van, and I was on my way to return it, and I was near out of gas and had to fill up the gas tank. So I pulled into a gas station and start filling up. And you know what it's like when you're renting things, you don't want to overfill it up. So it's like I filled it up, and then I went back in to check to see how much more. I'm like, okay, I'm in a pretty good place. Went back out, and I must have hit the door, and the door shut and locked. Oh, no. With my cell phone, with my wallet, and the keys, everything locked into this. And this was a sketchy part of town. This was a sketchy part of town right about sunset. And I could immediately feel, A, I was annoyed, B, I had to get somewhere and I had to return it, and I just felt uncomfortable. I was not at my 0 point. I was not at a calm place. And I trying to get help, and a homeless woman came up to me. She started trying to ask for money, and she asked, "Do you have some money?" I'm like, "No." And so I went in, I went back, and for some reason, she came back to me, and she said, "So do you have any money?" I'm like, "No." And I just really cut her off. And she turned to me and she said, "Are you having a bad day?" And I said, "Yes." And I tried to move on. But she followed me along. She said, "Well, what's going on?" I said, I locked my car in, and it was not a great thing. It was just expanding the thing, my frustration. And she said, "I think I can help. Do you have any money?" And so I reached in my pocket. I'm like, I think I had $20. I'm like, this is what I got. She literally took the money. She said, "There's a liquor store 2 blocks down, and he's got one of those shimmy things. I think I can go get it. Will you hold my stuff?" And there was a look in our eyes, like there was a connection to think. And I took it and I held it, and she took my money and she ran. And I was convinced that I would not see her nor my money ever again. And about 15, 20 minutes later, she was back, running down the street, waving this like car Jimmy, whatever that was. And we had this moment where she said, "Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to help you." And I said, "What is your name?" She said, "My name's Clarice." I'm like, how did your life get to where it is now? And she said, "Bad choices." But what's helped reset that's bad choices, but the best choice I made was I gave up my children. So I didn't bring them into this condition. And I don't remember exactly what had happened, but then she said, "Can I have a hug?" And I said, "Yes, of course." She said, "You're holding everything that I have. Thank you for believing in me enough to keep my life safe. And so we had our little exchange. I gave her backpack back, and I turned it around, and there was a tow truck sitting there. Like, I never called for the tow truck. It just appeared. Like, to me, it was an example of how the universe provides what we need. I would like to say before we need it, because I really would have liked that tow truck there 20 minutes before, but it provided exactly what I needed in that moment. That moment with Clarice got me back to my 0 point. And from that place, the universe aligns, and the tow truck emerged. And what that would be known in many cultures is namaste. In India, there's a greeting known as the namaste of love. It's where you greet someone. I honor the place in you in which the entire universe dwells. I honor the place in you in which love of truth, of light, and of peace. When you are in that place in you, and I'm in that place in me, we are one. That's a 0 point opportunity. That is one of those mechanisms that can get us back to 0 point, where all things are possible. And as we move into the month of September, new beginnings. So with that, namaste.